Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Matthew Mumbles. My name is Matthew, and on this podcast show, we pretty much discuss whatever we want to talk about. It could be my interests, life stories, things happening in the world, etc., etc. Today, I want to talk about my thoughts on Godzilla Minus One, the newest Godzilla movie to come from Toho Studios, the original studio behind Godzilla. This right now is in theaters. And I just got out of a screening less than an hour ago. So we're going to be having some fresh, hot off the heels information regarding the film. So I can outright say, and also, yes, there will be spoilers. So that way I don't have to hide any of my feelings. So do be warned. There is spoilers. So if you have not seen it, go see it. It's in theaters until the 7th. So go see it. That being said, Godzilla Minus One is easily, and I mean easily, probably my favorite of all the modern Godzilla films. If not, it's up there with King of the Monsters. Now hold the phone. I can't really even compare it to the other Godzilla films because it's so different, at least to me. Now let's go ahead and start with the basics. The story. It's set in World War II and stars Koichi, who is a former kamikaze pilot, and he's on Odo Island, and there we meet a Godzilla pre-mutated. It's not the Godzillasaurus, it's just a pre-mutated Godzilla that looks like a dinosaur, definitely behaves like one, but we can still tell it's Godzilla. So after he gets in his plane, fails to shoot it, he kills everybody on the island except for one character. And hold up, that one character is I can't even pronounce it. He's a former Navy Air Service worker. So I'm reading this from Wikipedia because, again, I'm not good with Japanese names. So I do apologize in advance. I'm just not good with Japanese names. That being said, I think a bit of time goes by. There's a lot of time skips more towards the beginning half of the film. So, they'll go from this point in 45, and he comes back, sees that his home has been destroyed, his parents have died, and his neighbor heckles him for it. Essentially, not fighting the war like he was supposed to, and her children died as a result of that. And then we meet another woman who is named Noriko. And Noriko apparently is like a thief, and again, it's hard to remember. It just came out of the theater. Why am I having such a hard time? So she comes in with a baby, hands it to Koichi, and then runs off. Koichi spends who knows how long with the baby, and then walks off, and then eventually discovers on Noriko again, and eventually the two, decide to raise this baby together. And what do you know? Throughout the movie, it's like the little girl growing up, and honestly, it was really heartwarming to see. Not growing up to full adults, but like 2 years old. In 1946, the bomb went off and shows Godzilla getting mutated, and then 1947 is when the film really gets kicking. So they discover a big U.S. Navy ship has been completely dismantled by Godzilla, who arrives, chases them down, gets bombed, actually does some significant damage to his face, but then guess what? It just grows right back, which I believe is one of the first times we've seen Godzilla regenerate that fast on screen. I know Shin Godzilla did it, but that was just sudden. We actually saw the flesh growing back, which I think was really cool to see finally. And then, what do you know? Godzilla comes back. Another boat comes in. He destroys that boat, and it swims off. So now Koichi is traumatized by Godzilla at this point if he wasn't already. So he wants to kill Godzilla. And what do you know? Godzilla comes back, and this is when, like, I gotta say, this was honestly my favorite part of the movie, was when Godzilla was just doing Godzilla things. He was in the city, he was destroying stuff, it was shot really well. In fact, there's like a scene where the news reporters were on top of a building, literally showcasing the whole thing going down. Literally, the building's going down. And Godzilla was actively destroying them. Like, mostly in movies, you know, Godzilla will be destroying them, but this Godzilla, like, really takes his time, making sure that everything he sees is flattened down to nothing. And he even goes after the humans. Like, there's, like, so much, like, there's this, like, one scene where he bites down on the train, and he, like, shakes it, I don't think he, like, aggressively shakes it like a dog, but he does shake the train, and tons of people fall out, things fall out, and, you know, Noriko is right in the middle of it, and then she falls in the water, almost gets killed by the train, and there's, like, this one scene with Koichi and Noriko. Noriko pushes Koichi out of the way before Godzilla shoots the atomic breath, and then the explosion, because keep in mind, Godzilla's pointing the opposite direction, he shoots his atomic breath, and it explodes like a nuke, which in the trailer I thought they were dropping a nuke. It was Godzilla's atomic breath. It was his heat ray. So it eventually, the shockwave from it eventually, like, pushes everything back and nearly kills Noriko, which Koichi thinks that it killed Noriko, but I guess it just knocked her unconscious. And so at that point, he's just like, you know, okay, I'm done with this creature. And so he eventually does become, you know, a kamikaze pilot again. And at the end of the film, well, they have, like, this very genius plan. I would have never thought of this in a million years, to sink Godzilla to the bottom of the ocean, letting it pressurize him. But if that didn't work, which, newsflash, it didn't, like, it stunned Godzilla, like, it stopped his atomic breath, just like, and then, what do you know, they decide to rise him back up, because anyone knows that, especially, like, scuba divers, you rise up too quickly, you're gonna get sick or injured or something. Same thing would have happened with Godzilla, so they quickly rise him up, and, it does damage him, but not enough to actually kill him. Until, guess what? Koichi comes back with his airplane, flies right into Godzilla's mouth right before he's about to drop the atomic breath, explodes the bomb right inside of his mouth, and it doesn't... Okay, it kills Godzilla, because we do see his body just, like, come apart later, but he actually is ejected from the plane. So, and at the end, you know, Koichi reunites with his now daughter and with his partner, who apparently survived and is in the hospital getting treated. But then right before the film ends, there's chunks of Godzilla falling to the ground, the seafloor, and it starts to regenerate. And honestly, this film, I know there's much more to it than what I just described, but I gotta say, the story was so good. I would have never thought to do a movie like this. Probably never. This film was shot so well, both in the CG shots and on, you know, with hand. Physically, the acting was amazing. Like, there's this one part where Koichi is just having a complete freak down, like, over because he was traumatized by Godzilla killing everybody, saying that it was his fault for not doing anything. And, you know, even the second time, he couldn't do anything. And, you know, he was, like, questioning, was he even alive? Was he actually dead? Was it all just a big dream? And, you know, you really feel for him. Like, The acting is just so good. And I think that, especially with the film being in post World War II Japan, it really gives more emotion to these characters, which I know Godzilla films are never known for their compelling characters or whatnot. This film does that. This film does the exact opposite of that, I should probably clarify. It has compelling characters. The main one you're going to feel for a lot. Like, I legit thought he was going to die at the end. Like how Haru did in The Planet Eater. Killing himself to kill Godzilla, even though that didn't really work. He, on the other hand, didn't die. I thought when he flew that plane to his mouth, he was still in there. Exploded, boom, he was done. Godzilla was done as well. Turns out neither did die. And I honestly was so amazed of how well that was seen, especially was executed. This whole movie was executed really well. The score was amazing. Using that old Toho music, dun 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 dun. You guys know what that is. It was so well done. Like, as soon as I heard that music on, I'm like, oh yeah, we're doing this. We're back in Godzilla action. And then, we're just doing this thing, destroying it. The military was firing at him. It was good Godzilla stuff. But the characters were a very well addition. Were a much needed addition. The score was amazing. The cinematography was amazing. The score, I already said the score, but I'll say it again. The score was awesome. The cinematography, characters, Godzilla's design, even though it's just modified from Godzilla the Ride, it was so good. Everything about this film was just so good. Now, I honestly have to say this. Now that I've gotten my overall thoughts of the film out of the way, I can just outright say that this film was automatically a 10 out of 10. It was not boring in the least. There is a lot of Godzilla in this film. Maybe there's like a section of it where he doesn't appear, but that's the thing. There is so much Godzilla in this. Because he's got like a lot more screen time than I thought he would be getting, at least. Because, we see Godzilla getting like, 10 minutes of screen time per movie? This at least has like, at the very least, 20, or what feels like it. It was so entertaining. That's what I love. Entertainment. It was just entertaining. So, 10 out of 10 rating for me as a someone who's been into Godzilla for like the last near 10 years. I can say with certainty that this was honestly one of the best Godzilla movies I've seen, period. There you go. I said it. I'm a big supporter and lover of this movie. I'm a fan of it. That being said, I gotta also say that I hope they do a sequel to this. I know I've said that with Shin. You guys can completely forget Shin exists. This film was honestly, I'm just gonna say it was better than Shin Godzilla. It was way better than Shin Godzilla. I liked Shin Godzilla for what it was. Don't get me wrong. It's just, this film was just way better. I liked it like a lot better. Make a -1, 2, -2, +2, +1. Godzilla at times 0 or whatever. Subtract, divide. I don't know what other kind of equations you can really add to that. But anyways, make a sequel to this, please. I know that says here that there's like... Hold up. I gotta pull this up. According to Wikipedia, it says, during an interview published in October 20, he says, he said that I think it's more cinematic if it doesn't end neatly and properly. It's not so a sequel can be made. It's so the characters are kept alive in the hearts of the audience. That being said, they will live in my heart. Well, maybe not literally, but like, I'm serious. This movie was great. I loved it. And I hope that one day they make a sequel. All I'm just going to say is, now that I've got my Godzilla fix from Toho, are you guys ready to enter the new empire? come this April. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel. Believe in Jesus, accept him as your Lord and Savior today, and spread the gospel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.